Let's go ahead and replay the dono again, though.
Reaction please sent for dollars. Hello, Zaya. Could you please react to this when you're done with this reaction, since it's Reaction Saturday?
A 12-year-old girl is facing murder charges.
Facts. All right. Salutes to Pebs. Pebs covered a little bit of this. I had seen it before Pebs covered it, but I was happy that Pebs, brought it up, and it was at least a small portion of the conversation, because this actually happened. True story. Over a cell phone, a 12-year-old cousin killed her cousin, 8 years old. I guess they were having issues with a fucking cell phone, and then I believe cameras that are inside the room caught maybe the cleanup of the crime scene, the repositioning of a body that makes the 12-year-old, how would you say it? It makes her look like she knew what she was doing, you know? But let's play some of this real quick.
A 12-year-old girl is facing murder charges in Tennessee, accused of killing her own cousin. And police say they think it all started over an iPhone. We're digging into this disturbing case and what's ahead for the teen suspect with Stephen Mulroy, District Attorney of Shelby County, Tennessee. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Prosecutors in Humboldt, Tennessee say a security camera inside of a bedroom shows a 12-year-old girl murdering her 8-year-old cousin. Can't even believe I'm saying it, but that is the situation that we're talking about. The young victim has been identified by her mother as Demaria Hollingsworth. Demaria and her older cousin were staying with her grandmother for the summer. Relative says the two girls were arguing over an iPhone when the unidentified 12-year-old suffocated Demaria. The suspect was charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. Gibson District Attorney Frederick Agee released a statement after Humboldt police revealed the existence of video in connection with Demaria's death. He said the video, quote, showed the 12-year-old female juvenile, who apparently will be 13 next week, used bedding to suffocate her 8-year-old cousin while the victim was sleeping in the top bunk of bunk beds they shared. After the suffocation, the juvenile cleaned up the victim and repositioned her body.
I wonder, cleaned up the victim meaning what? You know, like, how did she clean up the victim? I understand the repositioning of the body, but like, what was there to clean up? Like, you know, did she try to dispose of what, the bed pillow?
Blood, maybe?
Aggie wrote, I consider...
Blood? I don't think the little girl would bleed from suffocation, though. You know, even if even if there was like a drool situation, but saliva or something like that, like, I don't think that's enough to... I'd like to know what they mean by it, that she cleaned up. What did she clean up? What did she move out of there? You know, the repositioning of the body, I get. Like, if she's suffocating her and the girl starts fighting and moving and shit like that, I could get, like, positioning her back into sleep and putting the covers over her. But what was it that actually got cleaned up? That's the part I don't know.
Consider this to be one of the most disturbing violent acts committed by either an adult or juvenile that my office has prosecuted. Due to the horrendous nature of this crime and under Tennessee law, the juvenile court loses jurisdiction after a juvenile turns 19, and therefore the juvenile would be free from any further detention, supervision, or court-ordered mental health treatment. Our office is petitioning juvenile judge Mark Johnson to transfer the delinquent child to circuit court to be tried as an adult, which allows for a lengthier sentence, whether that will be through incarceration or supervision with court-ordered conditions.
Now, here's the thing also, I was wondering, and I think I fairly know the answer to this, like they don't give you like no special type of treatment because you're 12, do they? When you go to jail, do they just put you with grown-ass adults, or do they?
As a 13-year-old, I don't think so.
Like a 12-year-old, like, do they put them in like PC, which is protective custody? You know, is there like a fucking babysitting unit for the fucking 12-year-old? Like, I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, how crazy would that be? You take a 12-year-old and you throw them in jail where they're literally next to a fucking grown-ass fucking adult. You know, isn't this opening up, you know, the possibilities of the thought of grooming? You know, if she's in jail, obviously she's a female, right? If she's in jail with other females, ain't them older females gonna try to take advantage of her? They go juvenile. I get it, shout to Dub 910, but the thing is that they're trying to move the case for her to be prosecuted as an adult, which allows for a lengthier sentence. So if she's prosecuted as an adult, she gets a lengthy sentence. She still goes to juvenile, or she goes to jail? Which is that?
Go to juvenile, and then Well, let's see. I feel like she'll go to juvenile, and then when she turns of age, she'll then go to jail.
Okay, there we go. And shout the Dub, shout the Dutchie, shout the True Buffalo. So juvenile detention until 18 or 21. I'm seeing somewhere there 18, 21, and then the lengthier sentence allows for them to then transfer her to an adult facility.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, Pep said one girl committed murder and she was 10 and she got put in an adult mental ward. An adult mental ward to me is a little different than an adult prison, because in the mental ward, I believe you're still in your room. You know, prison, you're in your room, but there's also like a living room y'all come out to. And a lot of times, you know, I don't really see prisoners locked down like for an absorbent amount of time. All right, let's continue.
Now, we reached out to the victim's grandmother, who confirmed that there is now a gag order in place surrounding this case. But let me tell you who we can talk to. Stephen Mulroy, elected district attorney of Shelby County, Tennessee, a former law professor from the University of Memphis and former federal prosecutor. Stephen, thanks so much for coming on. So you're in a different jurisdiction, but same state, and we want to talk more generally about the law. First, let me just start. Have you ever seen a crime like this? Have you ever seen a case like this?
No, I have not. I was shocked when I heard about it myself. For all the reasons that you just described, I've never seen anything like this.
The suspect, 12 years old, it's just, again, kind of shocking to say this, but the suspect, who we believe turns 13 next week, what are the chances that this is transferred to adult court?
Well, transfer to adult court for a defendant as young as this, 12, soon to be 13, is pretty rare. It's not the norm at all. But when you have a crime as serious as this, with these kinds of facts, I wouldn't rule it out.
How does it work, though, in the sense that, what are the arguments both sides make? Whom is it, the circuit court judge that makes the decision? I mean, what are the factors that are presented by both sides here?
The court looks to see whether there is, in fact, probable cause that the defendant did, in fact, commit the crime charged, whether there's any special indications that there's some sort of mental health or similar type of problem that, you know, requires treatment and would argue against transfer to adult court. Anything else that would suggest whether, you know, or other rehabilitation things that might work have yet to be tried, that kind of thing. But, you know, I think it's important to note that even if there is a transfer to adult court, that doesn't mean that the only option would then be some sort of, you know, long sentence in the penitentiary, and that's it. It could be a combination of some period of confinement along with intensively supervised probation, counseling, you know, those kinds of things as well. So the mere fact that it's transferred to adult court doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, 30 years in the penitentiary is the only option.
Hey, I want to call out one of our great sponsors who helps make this show happen. Landon, you do or buy him to get 50.
Yeah, the juvenile court loses jurisdiction when the defendant turns 19.
So someone theoretically could be convicted of murdering another individual and be let out within a few years.
That's correct. Yes.
All right. When have we seen this? Anybody know? Anybody know when we've seen this example they just said?
What was the example? What they said?
The example is that you could get arrested at a young age for a very bad crime and be let out within a couple of years.
Gypsy Rose?
Nope.
Oh, no, she was of age.
I don't remember.
Chat? Anybody?
Wait, was it like a child that got arrested, or?
It was somebody that was underage.
Was it the Slender Man?
Nope. All right. Pebs ain't get it. I don't see nobody in chat, and I'm gonna drop it. Pop Smoke.
I don't know who that
There we go. Shout out to
Oh,
Oso.
yeah!
Shout out to Juice Show. Pop Smoke. So technically,
I
Yeah,
talked about that too.
when
Well, I
he
just
was
went over
like,
it very
how old
briefly,
was he
the Pop
again?
Smoke case. I
Fucking-
don't know much about it, but I did
Was he like
investigate
16 or
it.
some shit like that?
I think he was either 15 or 16. Obviously, he
I
got
don't remember.
convicted of the murder of Pop Smoke. 18 years old, was out,
Yeah, he admitted.
and now this nigga doing interviews. This nigga doing interviews. I'm like, what the fuck going on, bruh? Listen, back in my day, when you got off on something like that, you had to go into hiding. Okay, you didn't want motherfuckers to know where you at. Now them niggas is doing fucking press runs.
Right. Yo, for real.
Shit crazy, bruh. R.I.P. to Pop Smoke.
As a matter
There's
of
no
fact,
supervision. There's no supervision. No conditions put on that release.
under the current law, if they're in juvenile court, no. But interestingly, I have been a proponent for a while of something called blended sentencing, which the legislature.
Family's gonna have to watch the footage from the bedroom place in the cover-up.
I got a better one for you, Pebbies. If the footage is from the bedroom,
Yeah.
didn't they see it already?
Right, but they have to go to court. That's their evidence. Do you think they're going to show that? They're going to have to sit through that? Like,
Yeah, 1000%. That's the proof.
And another question, you don't think it was pedophilia, right? Because I was reading comments and they were trying to make it all perverse, right? They were trying to make
But what's pedophilia?
So because there was a camera in the little girl's bedroom, however, they were with the grandmother. You know, and that's what I was talking about on my shit, was that a lot of people, when I was going through reading or watching different ones of these, that a lot of people were trying to make it perverted, that there was a camera in a child's bedroom, which I get it, right? Because kids change in their shit.
Oh.
But she lived with the grandmother, who I'm assuming is older, and that was like safety precaution, right?
Yeah.
So like I think of it as safety precaution, but then you got weirdos trying to make it to be perverse.
Right?
Like it's really strange.
Oh my god, you got a camera and a 12-year-old.
Yeah, it was just weird
You're
that
still
so many people
perverted.
went that
Meanwhile,
route.
that's the grandma's grandchild. Like,
Right, and that's how I looked at it. Was they're older and they used
Now,
that
is it being deemed as perverted because the camera is in a little girl's room? Would it be the same thing if the camera was in a little boy's room?
I'm not sure. They just kept saying because the camera's in the little girl's room, little girls change.
I'm saying I'm asking you personally. If you was to believe that, do you believe that because the camera
well,
is
no,
in?
I would say if they're gonna say it's perverse, it's not just perverse for a little girl. It's perverse for a little boy too.
Okay.
So if you're gonna throw it at just because it's a little girl's bedroom, I think it's just as perverse if it's a little boy's.
Yep.
Right? But I don't think that's why the camera was in there. I think the camera was in there because these were older people, and that was their security in the bedroom to keep an eye on the children when they visited, you know? But people are trying to make it to be some perverse shit, and it just, I don't know, it hit me the wrong way.
All right. The reason that I say this is that fucking Jules got cameras in the boys' rooms.
Yeah.
I was just about to.
I don't look at her as perverted. Matter of fact, can I keep it 100 with you, bro? I love the fact that Jules got cameras all up in her house.
But people do that for security, not because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm perverted.
Holy shit! One of my godson's mothers got camera in his fucking room.
Yeah, matter of fact, let me tell you something. If you a parent, you definitely should have a camera in your child's room. Definitely, 100%.
What you gonna say that my godson's mother's a fucking groomer because she has a camera in her
The
son's.
swag, it's 2024. Everything to most of these people is perverted now. You gotta remember. Or at least people on the internet, right? Like, people on the internet, everything is perverted with them now. You're gonna have the rational people like us who think of it as safety, then you're gonna have the retards who are thinking of it as perverse.
Yeah.
You know?
And the thing is that if you automatically go to the perverb, like, isn't that you? Isn't that
That's
your
a you
mind? That's
problem.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
a you
that's a
problem.
you
That's not a them problem.
Yeah.
In all honesty, like I said, I'm fucking. I love the fact, and don't get me wrong. At first, because them cameras came into play while I was living there, and I ain't gonna hold you. Like I almost felt like a certain type of way. Like, why you need cameras up in here? Like, but then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, bro, like them shits is there for my safety as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What if, not saying that it would, but what if an incident came down and fucking one of them talking about I'm beating them and I'm not beating them?
Well, no, so
Or something to that effect. I'm just saying, like, that helps me too. Or if something happens to them, because, like, you know, I ain't gonna front. Like, Jules is extra when it comes to Benz, obviously because he has autism. You know what I'm saying? So, like, she be checking him, and sometimes he might have like a mark on him, you know. But what I always told Jules was take into effect that my nigga Benz likes to wrestle with Dominic, and you know he's gonna get hurt here and there. Like, you know, ain't nobody beating him or nothing like that. But it took for the cameras to be there for me to then appreciate that. At the same time, Jules got friends that be up in her crib, you know. And the thing is, no offense to Jules or her friends, but man, I don't know them Higgins. What if them Higgins got sticky fingers? Y'all saw how Privilege fucking took something from me. What if one of her friends takes something from her and then she thinks that it's me that took it? I'll be one of the first to be like, as soon as Jules even tell me something, I'll be like, bro, hit the cameras, bro.
But do you know what else? Is there was that one girl who got kidnapped. Well, not even one girl. Several kids get kidnapped from their bedroom.
Yeah.
Just their fucking bedroom. You know, and that's why, like, to me, at a grandparent's house, that's not weird to me. Because my grandma did that. My grandma has one set up in her house, in the guest bedroom. So when Liam used to go visit, and there was a camera in there. for safety, not because of perverse shit. And so I don't know, I read those comments and it rubbed me the wrong way that people are making a camera that's supposed to be for security into something sexual when that's not, I don't know.
Are they gonna say the grandma's a diddler? The grandma's a diddler. How dare she have cameras in
You know
there?
what I'm saying? Like, my grandma does that for security, right? My grandma, she lives
Oh my
alone.
God.
That's for security, is the cameras. Not a perverse thing, but then you got these weirdos on the internet trying to make it that, and I just thought it was weird.
Got the fucking controls of the internet doing that shit.
All right, let's continue, man.
Legislature just passed this year, and it becomes effective in January. And under blended sentencing in these kinds of situations, you might have the option of keeping the defendant in juvenile court, but having the court keep jurisdiction past the age of 19, up to as high as 24. And in those extra 5 years, you can either have an
Ellie abused fat bitch sent $3. Hello niggerzaya. My mommy threatened violence on me the other day. She's hit me before in the face on live and allowed men to change my diaper and slip finger, and can you react to the threat please?
All right, salute. Shout out to Ellie, abused fat bitch. Salutes. Hello, ETCZAYA. My mommy threatened violence on me the other day. She hit me before in the face on live and allowed men to change my diaper and slip fingers in me. Can you react to the threat, please? Yeah, just give me a second. We'll react to that after this. Which, funny that what folks were asking. Yesterday, I did take the link on Sandman's panel because I was about to cook as far as my thoughts on it, because that's what they were talking about. But as soon as I got up there, they had the Crystal Marie, they had the...
There was a lot.
Yeah, and the thing is that salutes to Crystal Marie, salutes to the Joe Higga, but my nigga, them Higgas just be talking and talking and talking. And I felt like, you know, I'm gonna try to deliver a point, but it might fall on deaf ears because of these panelists. So no offense to them. I just, you know, I backed out, and I was waiting for another opportunity to go on, but like I knew they would be content, you know, I ended up getting caught up in watching them versus taking the link again.
Yeah, no joke, Crystal says like last night out of nowhere, she's like, Crackadona, you hide your parents in your house and you fuck a black plastic alien. And I'm like, what the fuck?
A black plastic alien?
Yeah, she was saying that thing.
Who, the Crackadona?
Yes, she just was like saying the most craziest shit.
Who, Crystal Marie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was cracking up. She had me dying today too. I was cracking up today.
Yeah, when I'm in that mode where I'm trying to cook some verbal conversation, like I just try to stay out of the way of those folks.
Yeah.
Cuz they're not going to get it. They're intoxicated. They're talking crazy, like it's just going to fall on deaf ears. I'm like, bro, I'm better off just doing that on my channel where I know I could deliver it and I could entertain the thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, salute to them folks though.
an additional period of confinement, or you could have intensive supervision, counseling services, those kinds of things.
That's so interesting. Is that because other states are doing this, or are you just seeing, unfortunately, a lot of juvenile cases in the state?
No, a number of other states, I think over 15 states have for a number of years now had different versions of blended sentencing. And I always thought it was appropriate in a situation like, let's say that the defendant is 16 or 17 and they commit a mid-level serious crime. Ordinarily, if you transfer the youth to adult court, the data shows they're actually more likely to reoffend when they get out. In many cases, we're sending them off to crime college. But on the other hand, if you keep them in juvenile court, then you lose jurisdiction after a year or two, and that's not enough time to either rehabilitate or punish, depending on what you want to do. So the blended sentencing is this middle ground option that other states have been using, and I think Tennessee will use after the beginning of the year.
Now, besides the punishment, prosecuting a case in juvenile court versus adult court, what are the differences? How do the trials look different in terms of a juvenile or adult court?
Well, I mean, you still have
You know what's crazy?
direct examination
I was
process.
talking to Dutchie about this the other day. Actually, when you got home, me and Dutchie were talking about, like young people and being charged, and if you could plead mental, right? So the girl that did the Slender Man, she was young and she committed the Slender Man, and she was able to go to juvie and then a mental. She got to not go to actual prison, right? Because of mental, which maybe this is what will happen to this girl because she suffered from mental illness before the murder. And then some of them get out when they're 18, just purely based on that they weren't mature enough to know the consequences of their actions.
All right, let's get it.
Examination, the rules of evidence. You still have a lot of the same types of procedures in terms of a trial and fact finding. The main difference is that juvenile court, by its very nature, is supposed to be focused on rehabilitation. So you don't really talk about convicting the child of a crime. You say that the youth has been found to be delinquent. And rather than the emphasis on punishment, the emphasis on rehabilitation.
Is it in front of a jury in juvenile court or in front of a judge?
Judge.
Judge. So there's no jury in a juvenile court system.
Right.
That's the difference in and of itself, right? I mean, I guess the question is, if this is tried in front of a jury in adult court, I imagine there are challenges of prosecuting someone that young. Assuming, by the way, when that trial would happen, because let's say it hasn't happened for a few years, but assuming that this trial happens when the suspect is 13 or 14 years old talking about what they did when they were 12, is that a challenge to have a jury convict somebody like that?
You might think so because of the young age of the defendant. On the other hand, with a crime as serious as this, and if the facts as alleged are proven, they are, pretty shocking, that might also have a big impact on the jury as well.
What's the timing in terms of if it's a juvenile court, when does that go to trial? If it's an adult court, when does it go to trial? We've talked about cases that take years before a murder trial happens. Is it different when you have somebody that young, whether it's in the juvenile court system or the adult court system? Are those cases streamlined, they happen quicker?
No, you can have delays in either type of court, and it's, it would not be unusual for a case as serious as this, to take, a couple of years before it got to trial.
Do you have cases where somebody committed a crime or allegedly committed a crime when they're a juvenile and they're being tried?
The saddest part about this is that it's over a phone.
An iPhone, and that destroyed one entire family. Like, that family will never be able to celebrate another holiday how they used to. And that grandma probably has so much guilt. How much guilt do you think that grandma is feeling? Probably a lot.
For what? What'd she do?
Her house. Well, it happened in her house.
All right, but why should she feel guilty that it happened in her house? She doesn't got eyes behind her fucking head.
Right? So, like, even though she's not the one that did it, they were at her house. So I imagine that the mother of the 8-year-old is blaming the grandmother for the death of her daughter. And I imagine you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I just feel like she would just have guilt because it happened in her house.
Yeah.
And what's to say the grandma didn't know that they were fighting over the phone earlier, and she was, and she said, okay, you can get it first, and then you can get it later, and then when she went to bed, the girl just snapped. Instead of just taking the phone and putting it up for the night, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. That's the guilt I'm talking about. Not because she did anything. She's probably wondering what she could have done different to prevent that.
Now, after 18, after 19 years old?
Sure, that could happen. Yeah, if the defendant is just under 18 at the time of the offense.
But then does it have to go to the juvenile? Does it have to go into adult court? I know I'm getting specific with that. I just find it interesting in the sense that if you have a 12-year-old who's about to be 13, can this trial happen in juvenile court when they turn 19? And is that moot at that point?
No, it's not moot. I mean, it's up to the judge in juvenile court as to whether to transfer the case over to adult court.
Right. Okay, so now talk to me about a defense. Particularly in this situation, and we don't have all the details, but if this was captured on video that they're fighting over an iPhone, when you talk about a senseless killing, I don't know if it gets more senseless than that. That's what the accusations are right now. But what would be
senseless would have been the term for this years ago.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's not necessarily senseless because the cell phone literally has been put up on a pedestal.
Yep.
The cell phone that now does everything that you could possibly think of, and most times people don't even use the cell phone for what it actually is, which is to make calls, receive calls. That's it, right? There's so many different things that could be done on a cell phone now that it does raise the level of importance on the cell phone. Don't get me wrong, it's still dumb to have killed someone over a fucking cell phone, but I'm not that surprised that it's over a cell phone.
They're children, and just like we're addicted.
That's why I'm even surprised less. Had it been an adult, the two adults fighting over a cell phone, I would have said, bro, that's stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but two children,
They're addicted.
they're addicted to the phone. They're addicted to the tablets, to the point where they might mark a higga over the fucking taking of the tablet. And it's just like, and what it is that I don't believe that the child understands the level
That's what I
of
was
taking someone's life.
That's what I was trying to say. So although she probably knew what she was doing, she knew enough to cover up the murder, right? So she knew enough to try and cover up the murder.
Yeah.
But her brain isn't developed enough to understand the consequences that then come after following for the rest of her life. Because that's going to now follow her forever.
Forever.
And her brain isn't matured enough to then, like, acknowledge that, you know?
Yeah, very true. Very true.
She
Juice,
could have also
what up?
been thinking in a rage too, like just blind rage. You know how kids have that blind rage shit where they just snap for no reason.
Yep, definitely. I've definitely had to have my fair share of conversations with Dom because he's fucking blacked out and just be fucking, you know, like he gets so angry that he fucking wilding, and I got to pull him to the side and say, my brother, you're just getting yourself into more and more trouble. You got to learn how to, bro, take a breather, go somewhere, go to your room, you know, woosah, you know, you got to learn how to control them feelings.
Like when Liam came and he did the Fortnite shit. Remember, you took the computer away?
He slammed the door and literally, what was it though? Because it wasn't loading up.
It wasn't loading quick enough.
It wasn't that we took it away from him, he became angry, he left.
Yep.
It wasn't loading.
Yeah.
And we were trying to tell him, well, give it a second. And he's like, no, but it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to go this fast. And it was just like, yeah, but you got to give it a second just to take a breather real quick. And then he lost it.
Yeah, but that's how kids are.
Yeah.
That's how kids are today. That they're addicted to the fucking internet. They're addicted to the YouTube, to the phones, to the tablets.
Not only that, you gotta understand kids' patient level is very low.
Yeah.
That too.
All right, let's go there. Are we good here? Let's get it over here. And then I'll just move myself over here. Or I'm probably better over here anyway. All right, let's get it.
Defense, because I'm struggling to come up with one.
So I just don't know enough about the facts of the case to talk about this specific case, so I'm reluctant to kind of speculate about that.
Sure.
You know, in any situation like this, you know, you have to wonder whether there might be psychological evaluations that are requested, but I really don't know enough about the facts of it.
That's fair. What about generally speaking? In a juvenile court case, is a mental health defense on the table?
Sure.
And how does that work?
Well, it doesn't work all that much differently than it would work in the adult court, you know.
We talked about.
Yep.
We were talking about how.
I just want to interrupt you 1 second, Pat. I'm going to give it back to you.
Yeah.
The fake Lady Bathory account. Didn't we get rid of this account?
Yeah, he made a bunch of other ones.
Okay. Well, the fake Lady Bathory, if you could, can you give me a reason why I should keep your fake account? Like, how have you benefited my chat? How have you benefited my little drama situation over here? What content have you been able to cook up for the channel? Because if it's just you saying nigger this, nigger that, then you got to get the fuck up out of here today. So I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna let you think about it. I want you to tell me why it is that I should let you be here doing what you're doing. Like, how does this benefit me? Where do I win out of this? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm giving you this platform and you over here, nigga, like, where do I get something out of it? Are you going to send me a donation? Like, you know, like, where do I win from this? Because if I don't win, you got to get the fuck up out of here at the end of this. All right? Salutes.
No, the defendant would...
Pebbles, I think you were talking.
Yeah, so when I was doing, like, the brief synopsis on this, we were talking about, they said that the little girl suffered mental health issues, but the mother never sought help from her, right?
Yep.
So then at that point, is the mother then also responsible for the little girl's death because she didn't seek help for the mental health of her daughter?
Yeah.
And that's what then got her to snap. The mental health was never taken care of.
Okay.
That's also what we said too. We went over it.
Gotcha. All right. The Lady Bathory account said, because I've donated, then you should have no problem donating right now. Send me $3. Send me $3. Lady Bathory, yo, it's me. Whatever you want to call me. You know, I donated so I could get to do this. I could do this this fake trolling that I'll be doing in the chat. All right? Salutes. Links are down below in the description. You should know that, though, because you've donated.
Seek a psychiatric evaluation, and, you know, depending on the results of it, then they might or might not put in that as a part of the defense, and then the prosecution could then get their own expert and, you know, get a court order to evaluate the defendant, and, you know, you might have a battle of the experts, you know, like you would in any kind of trial.
but it's the goal that they're not guilty by reason of a mental illness. We talk about the insanity defense. The goal is to get not guilty by reason of insanity, and the person would be transferred to a mental health institution as opposed to prison. What would be the result? What is the goal for a defense attorney in juvenile court to put forward a mental health defense?
It wouldn't be that different. I mean, depending on the facts, you could argue for not guilty by reason of insanity, and then the question becomes, do they need to be committed to a mental health facility? Or, you could just use it as mitigation evidence, a diminished capacity defense that, you would use at sentencing. It can be used for a number of different things.
What are the chances that someone who, again, it's a horrific crime. It's unthinkable what I'm talking about, a 12-year-old accused of killing an 8-year-old. What are the chances that this goes to adult court, she's convicted of first-degree murder, and it's sentenced to life in prison?
That doesn't seem likely to me, given the young age of the child. That I don't think that is a likely outcome.
The reason I ask is because Demira's mother, Rayana Smith, had reportedly told WREG-TV that she is hoping for the maximum sentence, and she came out and said, last time I seen my baby, she was smiling, giving me kisses, telling me she will see me when it's time for her to come back home. She never coming back home. She never coming back home. Demira liked to read books, go swimming, play outside, ride her bike every day, play with the kids in the neighborhood, play with my friends' kids. My baby was sweet. There's been a GoFundMe that has been set up. We're going to include the link right there if anybody wants to provide some support to the family at what is a incredibly difficult time, an unthinkable crime, an unthinkable moment, and it's hard to make sense of it. But Stephen Mulroy, thank you so much for coming on and breaking down the law with us. It's a really tragic case, and we'll see how it goes through the legal system one way or another, but appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
All right, everybody, that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much for joining us as we cover this really, really tragic case. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.
All right, salutes, man.
You think she should be charged as an adult?
I'm a little bothered that she repositioned the body.
But
Yeah, no, that's the part that says that she watches a little too much crime solving, right?
Yep.
That's why they're trying to charge her. Had she not repositioned the body, they wouldn't be trying to charge her as an adult. It's the repositioning that got her that.
And I wanted to answer some. So if you're between certain ages, and it depends on the state too. If they charge you as a child, if they charge you as a child as an adult, once you turn 18, you can take them back to court to get those charges, whatever.
Well, yeah, because your brain changes from when you're 12 to 18.
Right.
And if you sought help and you're better, like then most time they'll release you. Or
Here's
even
a
sometimes.
here's another thought. Well, what if the police get the questioning of the grandmother, the mother, and they say, hey, the repositioning of the body, this, that, and the third, and the parents say, but I don't even know where our children would get that. And my answer would be that motherfucking cell phone that you just letting them rock with.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, right? I've been super critical of something that at the end of the day, the decision was made and it wasn't it wasn't the decision that I said, yo, I think you should do this, right? So for instance, Dom got a cell phone.
Right.
I've been told, Jules, I don't know why you gave that boy a cell phone. It don't make no sense. Like, he don't need a cell phone, right? The way she painted it to me was that, yeah, she wants to be able to have access to him before school, after school, whenever, right? But I'm like, and I'm like, yo, that makes 1,000% sense. The problem is that, my nigga, every time you see him on that phone, he watching YouTube, or he playing games, or he playing this, or he playing that, and then you know what happens? The cell phone dies, and he don't give a fuck. He moves on to the PlayStation or the video game. He don't even put the phone on the fucking charger. So how can you get in contact with him?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't know how many times I've called this nigga Dom, bro, on the phone, and that nigga don't pick up. And I've tested it. I've called him standing outside of his door, his bedroom door. I'm calling it. He not paying attention. I open the door, the cell phone off in the
But
distance.
that's kids. They don't want it. They don't want it to talk on. They want it to play their game.
I get it, but that's what I'm saying. That when Jules painted it, she painted it as it's something for her to communicate with him. And I'm like, bruh, that boy uses that phone for everything other than communicating with you. And then on top of that, he don't take really good care of the phone. The phone fucked up. It's cracked. The screen cracked. And then look, here's the crazy part, right? So the phone was purchased so that Jules could be in contact with Dom, right? Dom don't use it for, if he uses it for contacting, that's the last thing he uses it for, right? So then, then the phone breaks, and that be the first excuse that he uses. But how am I going to be able to contact you? I can't look at the screen. And it's like, nigga, you wasn't contacting me before.
Right.
Like, bro, come on. Children are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. They think that
they like to play victim more than they.
Boy.
Liam gets mad because he can't fucking win at a game, or he just gets frustrated and he'll throw it or he'll drop it, and then mommy, I need another phone.
No,
like, what?
Nah, hell no, bro. Hell no. Hell no. I don't think no children should have phones, but I do understand that our lives are different now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. And there are some instances where, a phone is needed, but how responsible is the child that's operating the phone? That's the problem, right? You might justify it and say, well, I need him to have this phone because I need to get in contact with him. But the thing is that if he ain't responsible, you're not going to get in contact with him. Okay, the phone either going to be dead, he's going to be ignoring your call. Like, bro, I've seen Dom ignore the call because he's playing a game. He don't want the game to fuck up. And I'm like, my nigga, but the phone is not for the game. The phone is for the phone call. And if I look at you and I see that you ain't answering the phone call when I call, bruh, I ain't vouching for you getting no cell phone, keeping no cell phone, nothing. Nothing. All right, salutes, man. All right, I believe folks asked us to react to that footage of Controller saying that she gonna smack her daughter. I definitely wanted to speak on this on Sandman's panel yesterday. I did not. I'm going to give you the same fucking thoughts that I had. But do we have the clip? Do you know what the clip's in the Discord?
Someone sent me the clip. I can give it to you.
If you could Discord it to me, please.
Yeah, hold on.
Let me just make sure. Am I coming over here with it? Where's the Discord at?
You want it? Oh, yeah, Discord.
Let's go here. There. Let's pull up the Discord.
I wish I had the clip of her smacking her before, but I don't. But I'm sure you've seen it, no?
Shit, I don't know. I don't think so.
There was another clip where
Did she smack fire out that girl?
Yeah, she smacked her in the face, and then, so that's not like the first time,
Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna send it to you right now.
The only question I have is, was she misbehaved?
Shout out to JFam. I restrict the tubes from my kids. # screen time. There's also a way to prevent this type of adult content to make it to their phone. All right. It's some type of setting in YouTube that you can set it to where it doesn't even come through. It'll give them YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and let me tell you something that also exists on cell phones, that exists on tablets, because, although I used it as an example, and although the judgment call was made to get him the phone, even though I said no, right? When the phone finally came, I said, Jules, there's ways to program that phone, less, he could get less. And I ended up doing that, and I think she ended up caving and then turning it off.
I don't have space in my phone to send it.
It's not just a link that, oh no, it's like a video that got to get downloaded.
Yeah, and you blocked me on Instagram. Sorry.
Okay, Pebbles, I can unblock you just to get it through Instagram, and then I'm blocking your ass back.
Okay.
So don't fucking try to talk. Don't try to talk to me. Nothing. Send me links. That's it.
All right.
Okay. If you need to talk to me in person.